We all know that one person that we can't stop looking away from. Maybe they're a celebrity, maybe it's your boss, maybe it's even just someone from your homeroom class, but these people have an intangible quality, that je ne sais quoi, the it factor, or what I call celebrity energy. Now, some people are just naturally born with celebrity energy, but that's not always the case. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly what celebrity energy is so that you can be one of those people that nobody can look away from. So what exactly is the it factor? Because a lot of people think that it's confidence and it's actually not. So there's this idea in acting that you never want to do a scene with a dog or a baby because they will what's called pull focus, meaning that everyone is going to want to be drawn to watching them. So you could be acting your heart out, doing your best work, and yet no one's gonna watch you. They're just going to want to watch the dog and the baby. So what is it that makes animals and babies more interesting to watch than you? It's that they are existing in celebrity energy, specifically in a hyper-present state. So a hyper-present state is ultimately when you're existing in the present moment while you're being witnessed. And it comes from feeling safe being perceived for who you authentically are. So this is why babies and animals exist in this hyper-present state, is because they haven't built up walls of resistance protecting them from being perceived. So where a lot of people get tripped up when they're trying to be magnetic, they're trying to seem more confident, is that they focus on the really superficial elements. This could be like trying to adjust your posture, trying to speak with more confidence. It might be changing your wardrobe, adjusting the way that you present yourself in the world. But the truth is, those are really just the superficial causes. And if you want to actually embody celebrity energy and be magnetic, we have to look below the surface at your energetic aura. Now, I like to think of our energy as like an energetic body odor, okay? Sometimes we can't really smell our own stinky body odor, but other people can smell it on us. And our energetic body odor is kind of the same way. I mean, think about it. Have you ever been on a date with someone and maybe they check all of the right boxes? They're successful, they're talented, they're smart, they're funny, but something about them just kind of gives you the ick. That's because of their energetic body odor. And so many people are walking around wanting to be confident, but inadvertently giving people the ick because of their energetic body odor. A lot of people get tripped up by trying to do more, which actually increases your energetic body odor and makes you even more repulsive. What we actually want to do is get your nervous system into a regulated state. Now, you might be listening to this and think, that's not me. I'm sure my energy body odor is fine. But here are some signs that you might inadvertently be giving people the ick. Sign number one is that you are doing all the things and yet you're not actually seeing the results change. It can feel really rewarding to stay really busy, right? We get a hit of dopamine whenever we're completing tasks, but sometimes that actually makes us repulsive. If this is you, you're probably doing a lot of different things because you get a hit of dopamine every time that you take action, that you feel productive. But ultimately, it's coming from the subconscious block of believing that you need to earn love, that you need to prove yourself to people. That energy is inherently repulsive to people around you, even if they can't quite put a finger on why. This is why it's not just the superficial things that we need to adjust in order to affect your energetic body odor. Things like therapy, journaling, talking to a trusted friend, actually getting in tune with why you're doing things can be very revealing. So check in on your calendar, look at your to-do list and see, am I actually doing these things because they matter or because I'm trying to prove that I'm productive and successful? The second sign is that the people who are closest to you think that you're actually showing up really inauthentically. Maybe you're following trends. You're always trying to copy the zeitgeist with your style, with the way that you show up, even with your jokes and your mannerisms, because you think that that's what you have to do in order to be accepted, in order to be liked. The truth is, people actually connect to authenticity, and existing in celebrity energy, existing in this hyper-present state where you are unafraid of being witnessed, has to start with you making peace with your actual real desires, what really lights you up and what really makes you happy. So do an audit of your life. How are you spending your time, your energy, and your money? And are they things that you actually value, or are they things that society has told you to value? And anything that you don't actually value gets kicked off the calendar. The next sign is that you get get caught in compare and despair. Now, this one's really common thanks to social media. So if you find yourself getting really triggered whenever you're scrolling through social media and you're seeing that someone is finding success in their life, in their career, then that is just a sign that you're missing your celebrity energy. If any time you start working towards a goal, you find yourself starting and then stopping and not taking consistent action, that means that your mindset is not where it needs to be in order to be magnetic. Those are just 3 of the signs that you may be giving off the energetic body odor ick. But now let's get into how we can solve it so that you can become more magnetic. So starting with awareness, tools for this include meditation, journaling, breath work, talking to a trusted friend or advisor, and of course, therapy. Now, the second thing that we want to do is to actually rewire your brain. Now, this moves beyond awareness, and actually what we want to do is change the neural networks in your brain. So when something happens in your life that is too big, too fast, too loud, too much for you to handle, your brain is going to see it as an active threat. And instead of moving that into the memory bank of your brain, it's going to keep it in this active threat zone. A lot of people don't realize, but they are responding to things from their past as if they are still in their present moment. Now, some of the things that are staying in your brain as an active threat might be what I like to call little t traumas. They're not necessarily huge things, but they did make an impact on your nervous system. But there also are big T traumas, and those are the things that you would want to get professional help from a therapist to help you process. But a few of the modalities that you can use to work through this include hypnosis, EMDR, and EFT tapping. This literally rewires the neural circuitry in your brain and tells your brain to put these things from the active threat category and into the memory bank. I'm gonna do an entire episode on the neuroscience of celebrity, so stay tuned for that. But for now, let's keep going. Remember, when you first start taking action, it still might be scary, but that's not a problem. This really is an opportunity for you to give yourself compassion and have your own back. Failure is just part of the process, but knowing that that is the next step and continuing to take action is what will ultimately teach your brain and your body that it is safe for you to be visible. You may have noticed that none of these things will actually make you magnetic, and that's because being magnetic is actually a byproduct of doing the work on yourself. Self-actualization, self-growth, pushing yourself to try new things, and healing from the past. It's these unsexy moments of working on yourself, staying committed to your vision, and actually improving your life, and then the byproduct will be the magnetism. But ultimately, the magnetism is just a byproduct of doing the work on yourself. Research shows that when you make and keep promises to yourself, it builds your self-concept and ultimately builds your relationship with yourself, and that inherently is what makes you magnetic. Your life is ultimately a culmination of the decisions that you make. And that's either an upward spiral trajectory towards the life that you want, or it could be a downward spiral if you're not actually doing the work on yourself to improve yourself and to stay focused and committed to your goals. Ultimately, that level of self-trust is what turns heads, draws attention, and makes you magnetic.